Hi, my name's Frank, and welcome to our garden, our kitchen, and our woodshop workshop. We're going to be making a lot of videos on this channel that have to do with growing things and doing other projects in your garden, doing some cooking in the kitchen with some of the stuff that we grow and maybe some other products, and making projects in our woodshop workshop for various different purposes around the house and garden. We hope that you'll join us, and we hope that you enjoy our videos. And if you find something that you find useful on our site, please do subscribe. Now today we're going to start our very first video by talking about a plant. It's called Tetragonia tetragonioides. Well, that's kind of weird, so let's call it what it really is called here in the United States, which is New Zealand spinach. In other parts of the world, like Australia, it's called Warrigal greens. It's also called botany bay spinach, cook's cabbage, sea spinach, tetragon, and Warrigal cabbage. There's an interesting history to this plant, and we should talk about it. It was first mentioned by Captain Cook on his first exploratory voyage to Botany Bay in Australia. There, it was growing wild along the coast, and interested, his crew picked, cooked, and pickled the wild plant to fight scurvy on Cook's ship, the Endeavour, which happened with great success. Later, the explorer and botanist Joseph Banks visited Australia. He was a British gentleman with Cook in the latter part of the 18th century and took cuttings and seeds of the plant back to Kew Gardens in London, where for many, many years it was the only planted vegetable to have originated in Australia or New Zealand. Today, many people are still foraging along the Australia coast, picking wild New Zealand spinach that still grows in abundance along the shore. Now, I find that kind of a dichotomy that they are foraging for New Zealand spinach in Australia, but that's probably due to why they call it Warrigal greens in Australia. Importantly, studies have shown that the leaves of the plant have some very healthful and medicinal value. For example, consumption of the leaves can help prevent heart attacks and promotes healthy hearts due to the abundance of vitamin K in the leaves. It can alleviate PMS syndrome, something very important for my wife and one of the reasons why I grow this plant, and eases mood swings, headaches, depression, and irritability associated with dysmenorrhea, otherwise known as periods, and due to the available manganese and other trace minerals in the plant. It has some ability to reduce symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis with an abundance of vitamin B6, curbing pain of rheumatoid arthritis in muscles and joints. It can help in fighting off colds and flu with vitamin C, additionally fending off other viruses, and helps reduce developing further complications like pneumonia and lung infections. Copper in the plant is needed for the healing process. That copper is also exceptionally good at building immunities, and it's been found to work as a cure for anemia, further allowing the body to defend better and heal faster. Other uses for health include improved blood clotting, protecting the nervous system with vitamin B2, and even thickening hair with vitamin E. This is an amazing plant with great uses, culinary, health, and as a ground cover. Now, the new leaves are the culinary treasure of the plant for consumption. The taste is similar to spinach and can be cooked or used just like spinach. The leaves do contain a medium level of oxalates, which can cause kidney damage if consumed in moderate amounts raw. But it's easily removed by blanching the leaves in hot water. Now, that does not mean a rolling boil. It means a simmer or a poaching thing, which means just bubbles along the edge of the pan will do just fine. Blanch it for 1 to 3 minutes in that water, and then immediately rinse it in cold water. The leaves can then be used in salads. It can be used in smoothies. It can be sautéed, put into soups, pastas, omelets, Indian dishes, and so much more. The plant likes growing in a moist environment and is extremely tolerant of saline and salt soils. It loves hot weather and is an heirloom, which means it produces viable seed. While not absolutely necessary, amending the soil with compost, kelp meal, and other nutrients will help the plant really explode. Now, cultivating new plants can be done by both cuttings and by seed. It is generally insect resistant, and even slugs and snails don't like it at all. Be aware, though, that it can be self-sowing once established and can cover ground in a hurry, though that may be a good thing if you're really looking primarily for a ground cover, or a flowering ground cover for that matter. But keep cutting it back if you want, and it will easily keep it under control, and you can maintain it. It is perennial in warm climates and will produce new delicious leaves throughout the summer and beyond. In our climates here in the subtropics and in the tropics, it will probably continue to produce leaves year-round. Now, let's talk about germinating seeds from the plant. Cuttings is pretty simple. You take a young cutting, stick it in the ground or stick it in a pot with good soil, and it'll produce roots. But seeds have become something of a difficulty. Many people have found this a difficult process with limited results. I have tried a number of methods, and I believe that I have found a technique, and the technique that I've used has produced nearly 100% germination rates on the seeds within 7 to 10 days, while other methods were much less successful. Let's move over now to our seedlings, and I'll show you exactly how I germinate for those results and for success. I'll also show you how we plant a seed and what products we use to do it. All right, so now we're back and we're sitting with a bunch of stuff here. We're going to show you exactly how we germinate and grow New Zealand spinach. Now, joining me for this event is my able-bodied assistant and my son, Kai.
Hello.
And he'll be passing things to me as we talk here, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's just begin. I tried a lot of different methods for germinating these and finding out which one was the best and which was the most effective way of germinating New Zealand spinach seeds. It's not even worth mentioning a number of them since we got virtually no success whatsoever. I've tried the paper towel method and the compost method and some other methods which just didn't work. So we're going to concentrate on the last two that actually had some, one that had some 50% success, and then the one that's actually quite amazing that was 100% success all the time. So let me first start by bringing out our first batch. This was our 50% rate. This is basically nothing but cocoa coir and a little bit of nutrients. I put a little kelp meal in there. While 50% of these plants sprouted, these seeds sprouted, they are very slow growing. This is about 3 to 4 weeks old now, and while the plants look healthy, they are extremely slow in developing. Some of them are getting second leaves now. So essentially these may end up being good enough to put in the ground, but my success rate as 50% is not quite what I really want for seeding, and the slow growth is a bit of a disappointment. So let us show you our success. Mr. Kai, would you send me the tray full of our successes?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Here we have a 100% success rate with growing New Zealand spinach, or down in Australia, Warrigal greens. What's amazing is that each one of these pots has exactly one seed in it, but as you can see, some of these are actually producing multiple stems, which I don't quite understand. So, but nonetheless, they look healthy. They're getting a little leggy, and these are going to be going in the ground before long or into bigger pots anyway, to continue their growth. They're all starting to put on second seeds, and here's the big deal. These are about 16 days old from the time I planted seeds. So in this particular method, they come fast and furious. Kept moist during the process. They're grown inside until they reach they get their first leaves looking pretty good, and then I've hardened them off outside, so they're spending more and more time outside today. So let's discuss exactly how we went about doing that. I'm going to put this towel down just to keep from making a mess here, and we'll start talking a little bit about the products that we use. First of all, a number of people have said, including some seed companies, have said that the seeds themselves need to be exposed to 55 degree or lower temperature in order to properly germinate. I have found that not to be the case or necessary. I did try that and tried a couple of methods by putting them in the refrigerator overnight and that type of thing, but it really didn't do anything special. So what do these seeds look like? The picture you're looking at right now is a handful of seeds. You'll notice that they're fairly decent size, and I have 2 of them here in this bowl. What I've learned is that by simply soaking them in cool water for 24 hours or so is just the right amount to get these seeds proper. The seeds themselves look sort of like a tooth. They have a very pointy bottom and a kind of a horned top, which is interesting, as you can see, as you saw in the other picture. Here's another one that has the pointed tops just a little bit more visible, I think. So these have been in this water for 24 hours, just kind of soaking. Now, we tried, as I said, we tried a number of different growing mediums like coco coir and compost and peat moss and other things. But what we found to be the most effective, surprisingly, was a commercial product. Could you hand me that, please, Kai?
Oh, yes,
Thank you very much.
Yes, my sir.
Thank you very much. What we found is it is Jiffy's Natural Organic Seed Starting Mix, which is available in virtually all the stores, and for like Home Depot and Lowe's, and I'm sure that something similar is available overseas if you're looking. It's a very light mixture. We don't have to add any vermiculite, any perlite, or anything of that nature, and it just works like magic. It is completely organic, and we're really pleased with the results that we got. The second product that I use in very, very mild amounts is granular Endo Mycorrhizae. Now, what is Mycorrhizae? Mycorrhizae is symbiotic relationships that form between fungi and plants. I think I'm a fungi. That's bad. Anyway, the fungi colonize the root system of a host plant, providing increased water and nutrient absorption capabilities, while the plant provides the fungus with carbohydrates formed from photosynthesis. Now, it looks sort of like really, really fine gravel, but it actually is a product which is excellent. Now, that is not used to help germinate the seed, but what it does, if little sprinkles are put at the bottom of the planting hole, when the seed germinates and starts putting out roots, the roots become much more energetic, much healthier, and they grow a lot faster. So now what we're going to do, where's my two planting pots here? We got these pots. And we got one more thing we're going to do here. I have some existing, I've pre-moistened Jiffy mix, and so we're just going to go ahead and fill this thing with some of that mix and pat it down some. And that makes it rather nice. And you want to fill that one for me?
Yeah, yes.
All right. Gotta have the son do one. All right. A little bit more, I think.
I'll do
and
that.
We're ready to do.
How about this? I will do this one for the camera, and you can do that one for the camera.
Well, that's all right. We're just going to make it really simple, Kai. We're going to do a real simple process here.
Okay.
All right, can you put that back for me?
Yes,
Let me just clean my hands here a little bit. So what we have here is a couple of just seeding pots. What I found the easiest way to actually make a hole, you have just a simple Sharpie. All I'm doing is putting a little hole about 1/4 of an inch down, if that, and that's it. Can you hand me my mycorrhizae? That's that.
Oh.
That's that there.
Nice.
One thing I want to mention while I'm getting ready to do this: when you're using water to moisturize your planting mixes or to water, ensure that the water is not chlorinated. Now, for us, we have dechlorinators on all of our spigots on the outside of the house that remove the chlorine as we water and use the hose. If you don't have that capability, if you fill a bucket with water and either use an aerator or just sit it outside for 24 hours, it'll pretty much gas off the chlorine. So what I do here now with this mycorrhizae is I take a little tiny pinch, and I just pinch slight little bit amount at the bottom of the hole of each one of these. Hardly any at all. That's all it takes. And then one more major, massive, important piece of this information. Can you hand me the file, please?
The file? The file.
This is just a standard tool file, and it's a very fine one. It's not real coarse one. And this is used as a way to scarify the top of these seeds. So I take this file and I simply rub it and scarify the top on the horn side of the seed. And that opens up just a little bit of the top of the seed, and then I plant it as if I'm planting a tooth with the pointy side down, and I plant that into the soil and then just firm up the soil over the top of it. And that's pretty much it. So we'll do the other one as well. There's the seed. Going to scarify the top just a little bit and then plant it into the pot, the seeding pot, and just firm it over. Now, it's almost guaranteed that within 7 to 10 days at the most, these two pots will have germination and start popping out their seedlings. It really is an effective practice, and it's worked for me 100%. So we'll put those over there. So in summary, simply Soak the seeds for 24 hours in cool water. Scarify the seeds before you put them in. Use a little mycorrhizae, will really help. It's not absolutely necessary. And use non-chlorinated water along with natural and organic seed starting mix, and you will have success in growing New Zealand spinach. Once second leaves are out, harden them off, put them in bigger pots until they start showing real leaves, and then plant them in the ground. And we've already talked about the ground. The ground doesn't have to be super. It just needs to be relatively healthy, and they will grow fine, whether in salt soil or otherwise. So we hope you've enjoyed this video. I do want to do a shout out, and I'll talk about that when you can see me in just a second. So there you have it. And listen, I need to put out a shout out. I have a gardening guru, if you will. His name is Rob Gray, and he's got a YouTube site as well as a Facebook page. He runs under either Rob's Bits Out the Back or Rob's, I believe it's Backyard Gardening and Aquaponics. And he is a real pro. He has over 100,000 subscribers, and his videos are awesome. Got a lot of my ideas for gardening from him. I've learned a lot from him, and I hope you'll go and visit him. I'll try to put a link to his site somewhere here if I can figure out how to do that. And do follow him, because he really is special. I've learned a lot about these New Zealand spinach, and he's got some recipes there too, so check those out. But please check us out too. I look forward to doing future videos for you, and we'll be doing some in the kitchen, some in the wood shop and workshop, and obviously some planting too. Back out here, I've got root pouches all inside of our pool area here, growing everything from moringa and cucumbers and tomatoes and eggplants and other things, and they're doing absolutely phenomenal. We're right at the end of June right now. It's 86 degrees outside, and it's a fabulous place to live here in Florida. So thanks again, and Kai?
Please, if you like this video, please like and subscribe!
There you go. Take care. Hope things go well for you, whatever you are into. Bye now.
And that's a wrap.